Well, I'm actually going to go ahead and I don't know. I don't really care what Arkansas is
Hmm.
doing
Okay.
with teachers and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'll tell
There's
you what my ideas are for teachers.
hit me.
I think that we should make teacher salaries competitive with the overall market. I think the teacher salaries should be probably in the area of $80,000 starting,
Hmm.
with a certain amount of experience increase every year. So maybe by the time you hit 10 years, you're earning like 100 to 110,000. Okay.
Hmm.
Here's the caveat to that is that in increasing those salaries to make them competitive, I think that we should be eliminating the unions, the teachers' unions,
Okay.
and also eliminating things like tenure.
Is there
I
anything
think that
other high schools that have tenure? I would very much disagree with high school tenure, but
I think there are in some states, but not all, and I don't quote me on that either.
okay.
Um, but I do think that teachers' unions do present substantial roadblocks to getting rid of teachers that are actually bad.
Hmm.
Um, so, like you see in Florida and Arizona, for example, their salary is under 50,000.
Hmm.
I would increase that by quite a bit.
Hmm.
I mean, I think that if salaries for teachers were competitive with the overall market, um, for jobs, then you would see a lot more people that were willing to become teachers. I think the salary is a major roadblock
Hmm.
in finding teachers.
Hmm.
Making it competitive, like a real job, that pays like a real job,
Hmm.
would be a huge benefit. And my trade off for that is that if a teacher is not performing to standards, we get to fire them.
Hmm.
We don't have to fight with some union for 2 years of legal battles over it. No.
Okay.
I mean, look at that starting salary in Florida, $37,000. What the
Hmm.
fuck?
What do you can't survive on that? Yeah. The average is 49,000. Yeah, that's almost nothing. Um, what do you think of the idea of forgiving their uh, college debts?
That's just another way of um, increasing salary. I mean, I'd prefer to just give them a hard number, like, hey,
Hmm.
you go become a teacher, you get 80K a year.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
if we say will forgive your college debts, well, to become a teacher, there are different degrees that you can get. And then, of course, you have to have like your certification for education or whatever it is.
Hmm.
Um, but different college degrees cost different amounts of money. So you might see a whole bunch of people that become lawyers, for example, and then they go be a teacher for a year or two in order to pay off their debts, and then they skip out and do lawyer things. I don't.
Honestly, I wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. Um,
Well, yeah, I mean, I get it.
that gets I mean, make it commensurate with the amount of debt you want to pay off. If you want to pay off a huge debt, you have to be a teacher for 4, 5, 6, 8 years. If you want to pay off a small debt, be a teacher for 2 years. I mean, I honestly think that would be a good thing.
I think there is something to be said for experience as a teacher, though. I think that that plan results in a lot of turnover,
Hmm.
which may or may not be good.
Hmm. Okay.
I think that if you're, I think the teachers, the experience as a teacher has enough value in itself in order for us to find incentives to keep them as teachers.
Hmm.
Which is why I think that the salary just needs to be straight up
Okay.
increased.
But not tenure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, tenure. typically if you make it to tenure,
Uh-huh.
then
That's only a college thing, right? There's no high schools with or elementary schools with tenure, right?
yeah, I don't think there are any elementary schools with tenure.
Hmm.
Um, but tenure is like one of those things where you just can't be fired at that point.
And there was a reason
Um,
for it, so that you could uh, research, experiment, look into things that aren't appreciated. Maybe uh, you could not have to worry about offending people when you do uh, controversial research. I think, if I understand correctly, that was the reason it was invented, and so that somebody could put in a bunch of work, a bunch of teaching years, and then once they reach a certain point and they're approved, they can then research whatever they want, research things that maybe the college doesn't approve, maybe research things that are dicey. It's the opposite of cancel culture, honestly. Um, you could research things that people don't want to hear.
primary and secondary school teachers can earn tenure in as little as 3 years on the job.
Oh, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a good idea for uh, elementary schools or high schools. If you're
fair
to,
enough. So for
if you're to,
public schooling, you'd say that
yeah,
tenure should be eliminated.
I am not a. It does not sound like a good idea for public schools. No.
Fair enough. I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, I love the idea of it at a college level. You
At the
spend
college level, sure. I mean,
10
if you're
years
gonna
of,
research controversial subjects and whatnot,
mhm.
then yeah, tenure helps
And
to
maybe you're
make it so
not,
you can't be fired for
yeah,
it.
and maybe you're not turning a profit for that college by doing 10 years of research into something. That is research is expensive. We discussed this last week. Research is expensive, and if you're not turning a profit, it's because you've already put in 10 years worth of work for this college. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. So my thinking is that I would like to increase teacher salaries by actually more than double
Hmm.
what it looks like in this chart,
Hmm.
just starting. And in doing so, bring in competition for those teaching spots and eliminate tenure. And that competition is actually what kills unions. Uh, so the competition itself, I wouldn't have to eliminate the unions in terms of like any legislation and whatnot. It's just the fact that if I fire somebody or if I fire multiple somebodies, then I'll have a whole bunch of people that want that job because it pays so well comparatively. Yeah, that's what kills a union.
I think proper pay and people providing good benefits makes the union unnecessary.
That's what I'm saying
I
essentially.
mean, you're right, and I would be okay with that. But let me throw this thought at you: $33,000 a year is almost nothing. A union fought to get it that high. If there were no union, it would be lower.
Well, there's a market rate that's set, right? Of who's actually willing to take this much money in order to teach. You don't necessarily need a union to set these kind of prices. It's just that the states or whoever is hiring these people will hire them for as little as possible.
Hmm.
If people won't take that amount of money, then sure, uh, they're going to increase the price, right? They'll increase their offers. This is one instance where I don't think that the free market is acting in the way that we want it to, because I don't want people that will take the smallest amount of money in order to teach. I want the people competing for the job rather than the job competing for the people.
Hmm.
So this is one area where I would say yes, we need to increase spending and we need to pay teachers a whole lot more because yeah, the union is only negotiating in Arkansas for $34,000 right now. But if I have my way about things, then I'll pay them a whole lot more, except for the fact that you don't get tenure, and you if the union tries to fuck with me, then I'm firing everybody that tries, and I'll just hire other people.
Okay. Now, if you pay them more and they have better benefits, they may not need a union. So I can comprehend that. I agree with that.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
this is one area where I think that the job needs to compete with the market and not the people need to compete for the job.
Hmm.
This is like a public good kind of job,
Hmm.
So that's where I stand on teachers.
Interesting.
Uh,
Okay.
I'm sure you disagree in some places, but
No, I mean, usually I like unions, and I think that they fought to get it up to 33 because it was probably less, or they fought to keep people in for certain reasons. I'm a pro union kind of guy.
okay.
That's all. And
I
if
think that people that are doing a bad job though need
mhm,
to be we need to be able to fire them,
I'm fine with that,
which the unions prevent us from doing.
and yes, but yes, they do that
Yeah,
because
that's why I think that
they
unions in
need these
teaching are
people.
bad.
I know. That's also why I think police unions are bad, but different subject entirely. But I think it's very similar. So I can definitely see your point and wouldn't argue with it because I'm going to use that same point when we talk about the police. Uh,
Fair enough. I mean, look at these salaries; they're fucking atrocious.
this
Look at
is
that. I
yeah, this
mean,
is a nightmare.
$35,000 to a year. Get out of here.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
a
want my
nightmare.
children to be entrusted to somebody that's only making $35,000 a year. Sorry,
Right,
they should be paid a lot more than that.
and they generally work really long hours with a job that I couldn't do. I could
Yeah,
not be a school teacher. I just wouldn't do it. Uh,
I
so
mean, I would if they paid me $8,000 a year to do it.
okay, if they if you wouldn't,
Like
I wouldn't. I don't think I would do it for $80,000 a year. I don't think I would. It's just not a thing that I would have a good time with. Um,
guess what?
because
I wouldn't even be political.
I
I
I
would just teach my subject.
I would I wouldn't for the first 2 or 3 years. But then some kid would come in with a MAGA sticker on his backpack that his parents put there, and I would have to contain myself, and I don't know if I could.
Man, it's a rough
I,
life.
I know. I'd be like, I can't talk to this
And
kid, and
somebody
then
could walk into my classroom with an Obama hope sticker, and I wouldn't say shit.
I
You
know,
know?
but I know, but it would be my job to educate people, and then he talks about I don't know some really ignorant stuff, and it would irritate me. If some kid was in there,
Really ignorant.
it's literally like I'm the teacher, I'm trying to teach algebra, and he's saying ignorant things. I'd be like, nah, man, that's like not correct. You should say
Just
things
teach
that are
algebra,
correct.
motherfucker.
No,
Just
I
teach
know. I want to
algebra.
I just
That's
want to
your
teach
job.
algebra. I want to teach algebra. I tried teaching algebra. Now, but then I don't know. And then once kids, I had a math teacher in what was it? Probably sixth grade. That we knew that if we started talking about shit, she would just like jump in and we wouldn't do any math that day. And the kids knew it, and they didn't want to do math, so they'd like ask her silly questions because she
Oh
just
yeah,
wanted
we used to
somebody.
do
She
that
just
in
wanted somebody to talk to. Yeah.
we used to do that in Catholic school.
Hmm.
If we really didn't want to do anything for Sunday school that day, then we would ask the teacher about dinosaurs, and it worked for like 6 straight weeks. We'd be like, "What about this about dinosaurs?" and "What about that about dinosaurs?"
Right.
and got the teacher to go off on these tangents, and then
And then the
went home.
teacher, yeah, who
Yeah,
isn't
and the
thinking
teacher got
about
super
it.
pissed at us one time. It
Oh
was like,
yeah,
"All right, we're
okay.
not talking about fucking dinosaurs anymore."
Yeah, my math
It
teacher
was
was
great.
that math teacher in sixth grade was like, oh, I have all these smart, intelligent children who were asking questions, and I'm able to educate them. And so she felt great. But we didn't do any math. Uh, so
Yeah.
I'd be worried that they would, my eighth grade algebra class that I'm teaching would catch on to that, and then they'd troll
Well,
me.
that's sort of why you need a teacher with experience, right? Because in one year, that
Yeah.
teacher might get caught up in that trap, but the following year, they might have realized that, and so they won't allow it to happen, which is why you can't have a turnover of teachers every year,
Okay.
because then you end up with a new teacher getting caught up in that same trap and not teaching any algebra to the students that need to
Right.
learn it.
Okay. Oh, hi. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button, press the subscribe button. Uh, if you want to tell me how right I am, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to tell me how wrong I am, leave a comment too. That's good. Um, this is just kind of a hobby for me, so I appreciate you coming by, giving it a watch, and pressing the YouTube buttons. Thanks.